Hi everyone, welcome to the content creator panel here. I'm totally unprepared to host, so we'll just have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the bearded man. You.
We're all bearded.
I know, such a diverse panel. I thought about shaving just to stand out, but
I almost did that too. My wife was like, no.
You can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
You worked too hard on that.
Yeah. It's because of her, actually. My name's Chris. I'm Tovray on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Woo!
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, live. And whatever else is, what else is new? Threads. I'm on Threads also. And Facebook, maybe?
Are you on Blue Sky?
I don't know what that is. Is that a dating site?
It sounds like it.
Okay, I'm not on that one then. I promise. So that's me.
All right, hi, I'm Joey Ferris. I'm on the YouTube channel Game Explain, and thank you. And I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing various websites and my own YouTube channels and such. But yeah, I'm representing Game Explain today.
My name is Mike. I'm Rec Wizard. So yeah, I do retro gaming content, modern gaming content. I host a podcast called the Retro Renegade Podcast. I also got game hunting, flea markets, yard sales, conventions. I also do a lot of game store reviews. A lot of my channel's views have come from me talking poorly about DK Oldies and other other channels or game stores that aren't the greatest. So, you know, but yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Yeah, just love being a part of the community.
I think we'll just open things up to questions right now. Yes.
Since you guys came here, how was getting here? And then, did you guys find any cool, rare finds while walking the floor?
Every time I look at that floor, for one, I'm not much of a retro game collector, like in the slightest. Like I'll look for stuff that I find mildly interesting and think, okay, that'd be cool to add to my collection maybe. And then I find like the most expensive things known to man, and I'm like, there's a reason why I can't do this. It's just, everything just feels so expensive. Like even just like the little things you probably wouldn't expect. Like I saw The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks on DS, a game I have not played yet. I'm just like, okay, $90. No.
You can get a graded copy for $200.
Oh, of course.
Then you wouldn't get to play.
Yeah.
I actually, you and I got the same
We
game.
got the same game.
Yeah, we ended up
today.
getting the same game today.
Silent Hill 1,
Yeah.
Black Label for PS1.
Nice.
Yeah, so my wife put me on a budget today, so I had to trade for it. So it wouldn't cut into my budget. So yeah, after I did some trades with a buddy of mine who owns an awesome game store in Manteca, I ended up paying $60 for it. So it was a score because it's like a $200 game. So yeah, when I come to these, I usually try to come with something in mind that I'm looking for. Right now, I'm collecting PS2. Anything 6th gen really is what I'm kind of going for. Minus the Dreamcast. I really don't care about the Dreamcast. Unfortunately, other than fighting games, it wasn't that great of a console. If I'm being honest, neither was the Sega Saturn. Sorry. But yeah, 6th gen is what I kind of look for right now. I'm going for all the horror and RPG games ever made for the PS2. So that's an expensive feat. It's going to take a while, but yeah. So we found Silent Hill. I got some other games too that I picked up that were on my list. Nothing crazy. Maybe $40 game here or $10 game there. Nothing crazy. So I like being married. So.
You should check out Fire and Ice Games.
Oh, absolutely. Our boy Ryan right here. He owns the largest game store in all of California. And that's not a lie. Like, it's huge.
If you have not been to Fire and Ice, they're a short jump from here.
They're in Rockland, California. Definitely worth checking out. And if you go there with your wristband from this weekend, you get 15% off at the store. So they're actually sponsoring this the show this weekend. So definitely check them out.
Appreciate it. Shout out, bro. Oh, hell yeah.
Any other questions or? Yes.
So as content creators, what are your guys' favorite videos you guys have made?
Talking badly on DK Oldies. No, I like. I just did my favorite video I've ever done was back in October. I did a collaboration with Mort from Mort's Garage, Pixel Game Squad, My JRPG Life, and just a handful of creators in the retro space. And Mort actually edited the video for me for free, and it was just a really good time getting to collab with so many different people. So I would say that's probably my favorite video that I've done so far.
There's a few, because I've done it for multiple channels. On my own channel, Ferris Wheel Pro, which I haven't uploaded to in years, I did a review of The Witcher 3, but I did it like with my friends, and we did like some Witcher sketches in it. It was like, I was trying to be kind of like AVGN at the time, Angry Video Game Nerd, but that was just a ton of fun, just a blast doing videos with my friends. On Game Explain, I did a video on Mario's funeral, because this was around the time when Super Mario Bros. 35, I think it was called, and like the Mario 3D All-Stars collection were just being like not sold anymore. It was like this weird thing Nintendo was doing, so I basically set up a green screen, I dressed up in a suit and tie, and I just did like a eulogy for Mario. It was really funny, and it ended with him busting out of the coffin. It was great.
I really love doing videos about really obscure facts. I don't know how many of you guys watch my videos, but most of my content, if it's not revolved around like my kids or my family or like gardening, the gaming stuff is like super weird factoids. And so I did a video, I think it was maybe midsummer, where it was the story of Sega versus Sony. I don't know how many of you actually know what happened there, but originally Sega had gone around and pitched to pretty much everybody. Sony had gone around and pitched to pretty much everybody to partner up. It's a pretty well-known fact, the Nintendo one that fell through. It also happened with Sega, and they ended up kind of, Sega left the market, and it was sort of by Sony's hand. So that video did really, really well. That was one of my first viral videos for video games, and that was probably my favorite.
I think that's what got me involved.
Oh, really? That video? Yeah. Thank you.
I didn't know you did gardening videos.
I do gardening videos. My most viral video is a gardening video.
No way.
Crazy neighbor.
Mystery Plant Theater 3000. If you follow my channel, you'll be familiar with that. It's like 6-7 million views on YouTube. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
30. I think I got like 30,000 subs just on it.
Nice.
It's crazy how that works.
I need one of those videos too.
We're at a gardening convention, right?
Yeah.
This is?
Yes.
Skyrim, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the best game ever made.
How'd you feel about Starfield?
Which version?
Starfield is not very good.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk is better.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not the worst game I've ever played, but like when you play games from Bethesda like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, and these are just monumental games in history, and then you get Starfield, and you're just so underwhelmed because it's not as good as the other franchises. It has its problems, but I'm about 15 hours in and I'm bored to tears, and I don't know if I'm going to keep playing it.
I beat the main quest. That was pretty cool, but I have no desire to go back to it.
Yeah, I'm playing
the first
Cyberpunk right now, and that game's amazing. So.
I need to get beat with Cyberpunk. I might need to start a fresh new save because it's been so long. Are you nervous for Elder Scrolls 6 now, or?
No, I'm not nervous. I just know it's going to be another 10 years before we get it. So
Right.
it's like,
Right. Don't worry, Fallout 5 will be another 20. So.
yeah,
My favorite game is Metroid Prime.
Yes.
great game.
Just classic. What more is there to say about
Did
it?
you have the remaster?
Loved it. I can't go back to the original now. Like that's how good the remaster
It
is.
was very good.
Yeah, mainly because it just fixed the controls. Not fixed it, but
yes.
yeah. Yeah, the controls just way better. It visually just looks so much better, but also still looks like Metroid Prime. That's really hard to do for like a remaster or a remake, to make the game look different, look better, but also look the same or like have the same essence as the original. And they just did that perfectly with Metroid Prime Remastered. That blew me away. Now I need Prime 2 and 3 Remastered. Okay.
Thanks, Nintendo, for giving us a look at. I don't know. I kind of like. I separate my favorite games into like eras, right? Like I have my childhood era, and then I have like my young adulthood era, and like a modern era, because the games from those eras are nothing alike. So it'd be really hard for me to choose just one. Maybe Ocarina of Time or Earthworm Jim. I have an Earthworm Jim tattoo on my back.
No way.
That's drawn by Doug Tindall.
Show us.
I know he ended up kind of being like a real dirtbag. Yeah. All right, let's do this. Kids out. Yeah, modern Skyrim's up there. Maybe Witcher 3. Maybe Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Vice City's like got a special place for me. Metroid Prime is also. I don't know. Very difficult. I would have to separate them into 3 different categories and then pick the game from those categories. Probably Earthworm Jim, Ocarina of Time, Witcher 3.
Vice City, we're going back to Vice City, 2025.
I can't wait.
Yes.
I have a question. I'm of the older generation, so I'm not the panel. What do you guys, what is your favorite old school game, and how do you feel about those games? Like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong.
Really good question.
I have a massive collection of arcade cabinets. My wife can attest. When we went to buy a house, a prerequisite for the home that we were going to purchase is that it had to have a room about the size of this room that could be an arcade. So like we have a family room, yeah. And we found this place that ended up being perfect. And there's an arcade. If you watch my videos, you see that there's an arcade. I'm in an arcade most of the time. We're in an arcade when we shoot these videos. So I'm willing to bet that I'm probably the oldest dude on this panel.
Probably.
Yeah. I was born in '80, so I lived every year of the '80s, and I have such a special spot for. So some of the machines that I own are a Miss Pac-Man. The Miss Pac-Man belonged to my grandfather when I was growing up, so I kind of can contribute a lot of my passion, obsession, whatever you want to call it, to my grandfather who owned this Miss Pac-Man my whole childhood, and then when he passed it was left to me, and that kind of kicked off this gaming collection that I have. So I have an Asteroids, but I also have Mortal Kombat 2, and so I mean I absolutely love stuff like I have every console that's ever been released in the US, going all the way back to I have my Intellivision 1 and Intellivision 2 and my Atari 20. You know, like all of those games. I did a video not that long ago about when Atari announced the anniversary edition Atari that takes the original 2600 cartridges. And it's so crazy, most of the comments in there, the video did really well, but most of the comments were like, yeah, but those games are total trash, they play like garbage. And it's like, well, if you didn't grow up with those games, yeah, of course you're gonna go back to them and be like, what is this? But there's just something really special about that early era, late 70s, early 80s video games that if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have what we have now. So I love it.
Yeah, I think I'm the youngest one on this panel. I was born in '95, so I was born right when 3D gaming started taking off. So, like the earliest games that I find really fun, I don't really play too much like of the NES or Super NES ones, but like Super NES is like probably my favorite one. Super Metroid's classic right there, Super Mario World. Like maybe the earliest one I enjoy playing is Super Mario Bros. 3. It's just like absolute classic right there. That game is aged superbly. Yeah, I don't really have too much like 80s or NES games under my belt. I mean, Pitfall's fun. Like if you think Pitfall's trash, you're just wrong. So.
I don't like anything before the NES, so that's just me being honest. I don't like the Ataris, any of them at all, except, you're gonna laugh, I love the Atari Jaguar. But I had one, and I remember getting it at KB Toys in Alameda in a clearance bin with like almost the whole library for
What
like
was the game?
$5 a game. And I remember the one I liked was the mutant penguin one for the Jaguar. Everybody knows that one. It's really weird. I bought an Atari because he likes the Atari. That's why I bought it. I didn't really want the Atari. It looks awful.
That wood grain was so cool.
And I'm gonna be honest, like I'm really not into NES either. I got my first NES 2 Christmases ago from my wife because I've never owned one, so she bought me one. My first console was a Super Nintendo and a Genesis. So yes, the NES is cool, but when I go and play it, I'm not nostalgic for it. So like if I'm gonna play the original Legend of Zelda, I would rather play Link to the Past because it's just better.
It is.
Right? So it's like it's hard for me to go back and here's the thing. When my wife bought me the NES and I opened it on Christmas and I had Mario 1, 2, and 3, and I put them in and I'm like, I remember you could save on these. And I was like, that was Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo that you could save. And all this time, I'm like, man, you really gotta leave your console running to beat the whole game?
Yeah,
This
that was my
sucks.
childhood, man. Like, Sim City overnight so I could get all that money. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And then a disaster would come through, destroy my town in the middle of the night when I was sleeping. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
I just, I don't know, man. I like, my 2 favorite consoles, Super Nintendo and PlayStation 2. Like, those have some of the best libraries in gaming history, hands down. So,
Largest libraries as well.
yeah, I think the PS2 is about 1,500 North American games.
Didn't one just come out like 2 years ago or something?
30. I mean, there's still games coming out for most of those consoles. Actually, there's still a really great community out there making games for the Jaguar CD.
I'm talking like an official release though.
Oh, an
So
official
this
release.
was like a film
Yeah.
about it like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
you're right. Actually,
That's crazy.
So, Brian.
Yeah, but first of all, I appreciate all you guys do for the community. You're all great.
likewise.
Yeah, you too, dude.
Content creation is something that I know is super, super time consuming. So I'm wondering what's all your day jobs, career, day jobs, and why do you do this?
Gamers Plane is my day job, so I'm very fortunate in that. Yeah, it's different though, because it's like, I don't exactly always make the content I want to make. I do a lot of news videos as well, and I do a lot of topical ones too. When it was just my own channel, I was doing a lot more of the videos that I wanted to make, which didn't always guarantee views. And that's why I always tell people who like want to get into content creation, do it as a hobby. Like I was gonna say maybe do it as a hobby when you start, but like honestly, do it as a hobby for as long as you can or want to, because there's never a guarantee you're gonna make a living off of this. Most of the time you won't. I was lucky enough to like, Game Explain had a job opening and I applied for it, interviewed for it. It's pretty much like I'm working for like a media outlet like IGN or something. That's pretty much what Game Explain is.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I'm a heavy equipment operator. I've been in the union for 14 years. My dad is my boss, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I've been in the union for 14 years. I do it because I genuinely want to meet like-minded people that share the same passions and hobbies that I do. Growing up, in the 90s, it was being a nerd wasn't really cool, right? Like it was like you play video games, you're a nerd or you're a geek, and it's not great, right? But now the table's kind of turned, and where gaming is a sport now. Like I never thought I would actually see that happen. But yeah, I mean, for content creation, honestly, like Joey was saying, unless you make it really, really, really big, it's not going to be your full-time job. That's just reality. Go into it because you love it, not because you think you're going to be the next ninja or you're going to make millions of dollars. The one question everybody asks me, I don't know if they've asked you guys, but like people at work that don't really know anything about content creation, they're like, how much do you make, man? You get paid from YouTube now, you got partner? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how much do you make? Perfect example, my biggest video I've ever had on the channel was 93,000 views. I did a game store review of a place called The Game Room that has 3 locations in Nebraska. I made $400 on that video. $400. So for me to be able to basically quit my job in construction, I would have to have multiple hundreds of thousands of views on videos every week consistently. It's not happening. So unless you're like Metal Jesus or Ludwig, it's probably not going to happen, right? Like that's just reality, but don't go into it expecting you're gonna be rich. Go into it because you love what you're doing. That's why I do it, because it's fun. I get to meet awesome people like all of you and talk about the nerdy stuff that we love, and that's why I like doing it. It's fun for me. It's an escape from how crappy the real world is, right? When you get to come here and be with all of you and talk about stuff that we grew up with and that we care about and we're passionate for and things that are coming in the future, that's why I do it. And I get to share it with my kids. That's a big thing for me. So,
Oddly enough, I sell heavy equipment for a living.
do you really?
Yeah.
Who?
Kubota.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we buy our skid steers from you.
Yeah, I own a Kubota dealership.
Small world.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. And my dad owned it before me, so
Oh, man.
shout out. I actually technically don't really own it because that's how that works. But that's what I do for a living. I do it 9 hours a day, like 5 days a week. And I actually went to film school. That
So
was
did
like
I.
my thing. Yeah, I moved to LA when I was like 22 and went to film school. And back when film was shot on cellular film. And so I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to write and direct. I learned how to edit at film school on Final Cut. And I've been in a band my whole life. I've been in like a touring band pretty much since I was old enough to play instruments. And when the pandemic kind of hit, we couldn't play anymore. We couldn't go out and play clubs and do any of that stuff. And so when I was a kid, growing up in the 80s, like same thing, I wanted to like tell my parents that I wanted to play video games for a living or like talk about them to people for a living. And in the 80s, that was not an acceptable answer to that question. So it was like do the family business. And now my kids are growing up in an era where that is a totally acceptable thing to do. And so I thought, well, like at 40, I should probably just start making videos. I know how to shoot videos. I have all this equipment, my Instagram. I should show them that it's something that they can do if they really want to do it, if they're passionate enough about it. And really, I started the video channel 18 months ago. A little over 18 months ago on TikTok first, and I had a viral video pretty early on TikTok that did really well that gained me a lot of followers on TikTok, which was really cool and exciting. If I wouldn't have had that, I don't know that I would have had the drive to continue to make videos that 10 people were watching. So it was like, it's a slug. Like when you're making videos every single day or making content that not a lot of people are watching, the most important thing to remember is do it every day. If you love it, do it every day. Do as much of it as you can every day. Because it's not about how many people are watching, it's how often you do it and how good you become at it. Because the more you do it, the better you become. And the next thing you know, like, if you're authentic and you're talking about the things that you really, really love, people just kind of get attracted to what you're doing, especially like-minded people. So I went from like, 2,200 followers on Instagram earlier this year to, I could be over now, but earlier today I was at 99.9. So I'm almost at 100,000 followers on Instagram in like 12 months or 10 months, whatever it is. And I truly think it's because I do 4 videos a day every single day. And it sounds like a lot, but I love doing it. I involve my family in it, my kids love doing it. My wife sort of loves doing it sometimes. She's on my videos. So yeah, I mean, like, it's just about being passionate. If you really love what you do, and you talk about it authentically, you don't talk about stuff, the worst thing you can do is make videos about stuff you don't know about, or act like you know about it when you don't know about it. If you just talk about the stuff that you know about, people will, the authenticity will come through, and the people who actually care will be there. They'll show up eventually. But it's just a matter of like repetition. Do it, and that's really why I do it. I got a great full-time job that pays really well. I don't necessarily like it, So this is something that really is an outlet for me. And I don't know if I will ever, maybe I'll go full time doing this. That would be really cool. But right now, I just really enjoy doing this. Sitting here with all of you guys, like you guys all like enjoy the same stuff that I enjoy. I've met Ryan from doing this. I've met you guys from doing. Like, all you guys are like friends, Like, you came and pulled the very first card this morning and pulled the Nitro deck. That just being able to do that kind of stuff is just like it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yes, to the back.
I want to know what you guys' opinion is on how highly priced games are. Like, for example, trying to find an older Kirby game for my son is you're not finding anything cheaper than $100.
Which
out
game?
There.
Air Ride, of course.
I think
Of course.
Air Ride's like an $80 game, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it
So
more?
I mean, if they're charging 100, it's probably convention prices. It's like an $80 game, right? Like normally complete, right?
15% off the Vampire, so like 65.
So like 65. So if you drive to Rockland, you'll save like almost $40.
But I guess the second part of my question is because you guys have kids, and do you feel that there should be a need to let your kids play those games versus, oh man, I can't afford $100 to let them play that game right now?
Just emulate it.
Yeah, I mean, so there's so many facets to that question. For me, it's easy because I just pull it out of my collection because I still have it from when I was a kid. But the way I look at it is like the people who grew up, like people like myself and Ryan, who like grew up playing these games. The reason they're priced so high is because there was only so many of them produced, and like anything else, it's supply and demand. We want the games from our childhood, and so we have, a lot of us have jobs that pay okay, and we have disposable income. So, like Pokemon cards or anything else, the value goes up because we all want them.
Yeah.
Really, the issue isn't the value of the original physical media as much as it is the IP holders not giving us players a better way to play it if we don't have the physical copies, right? So having stuff like the eShop and having stuff like, all of these other ways to play, we could go emulate it. You can go on, I've got a console in my bag right now that is like probably not the most legal thing in the world, but it has that game on.
Is that an analog? Or no, that's Ambernick.
Ambernick.
Yeah, I got one of those.
I bought it on Amazon. I carry it in my bag, so it's like $80. So if it gets banged up and stuff, like it's got an SD card. It comes with an SD card, not in it because that's not legal, but it's floating around in the package is an SD card preloaded with like every retro game you would want to play, including Dreamcast games. The emulation's pretty good now. So if you really want to play it and that's what you want out of the game, stuff like this, it's hard because the IP is such a tricky thing, right? Like the person who made this game, whether it be a team from a development studio, may not even own the IP rights to it. And maybe they had something like GoldenEye, right? Is a really great example. Everybody's like, well, why can't they just make a sequel to GoldenEye? Why can't Rare make a sequel to GoldenEye? Well, there's so many, or a remaster, or a remake. Like, maybe Pierce Brosnan's people don't want Pierce Brosnan in the game anymore. Maybe the music licensing is up. It's just like Grand Theft Auto. If you look at stuff like that, the soundtracks that were happening in 2006 or whatever on Vice City, that licensing was up a long time ago. So they really can't make, they can, but they got to go through all the licensing loopholes again. They can't make that game again, or they can't like just reproduce the game and sell it to us. That's why when you go back and look at Vice City or whatever that new trilogy remaster thing was called, like there's music missing from there. There are things missing from there. So I think game preservation is a really, really important thing. So seeing companies like, I think you just said Analog, like seeing companies like Analog make the consoles they're making where it's a new console that plays the original hardware. It's basically original hardware that plays your cartridge. I think is really important, and that's why we live in this digital era now that we really don't have a lot of ownership over the stuff that we are buying, because my kids and I buy lots of Fortnite skins. We love Fortnite. You know what I mean? We bought Ninja Turtles yesterday. It was super cool. How long until Fortnite goes dark? You can't play it anymore. And the $40 or whatever I spent on Ninja Turtle skins isn't available. So like, it's a weird gray area I think that we live in, and I really think like, not to get too far down a rabbit hole, but like blockchain technology and all that stuff that's happening right now is probably a good step in the right direction. Digital ownership. Hold on to your physical media if you have it.
It stinks though, because even the things, not to keep ripping on that, but even physical media these days though, like games, they require like downloads now, so it's still just a tricky thing. Even then, I'd still want to buy physical.
I always buy physical.
Call of Duty that has a 30-minute campaign and then the rest is online.
Yeah, you can't, for one, like you can't even, that game's not even on the disc.
Yeah, most of them are just like an unlock code, and you just download
It's
it
an
anyway.
authenticator is what you're buying. You're buying a physical copy
Yeah.
authenticator, but
But I mean, I'm all about emulation or buying the physical, whatever you can afford. Don't go broke to play this game, emulate it.
Right.
Like, Ryan, Crusader of Sentia is a $2,000 game. It's a Link to the Past clone on Sega. It's a great game. It's $2,000. Please don't go buy that game. Like, just emulate it and play it because it's a great game, right? Keep the memory of the game alive, right? Like, if you can afford it, if you're balling and you can drop $2,000 on a game, sure, go see Ryan. But if you can't, there's nothing wrong with emulating it. I think that one of the biggest problems in the retro gaming community is the fact that people gatekeep and tell you how to play your games. It drives me nuts. Like the elitists are like, oh, you gotta have a CRT and you gotta have original hardware. And no, why? Why does it matter how I play my games? I remember there was a story where this dad had posted pictures in a Facebook retro group of, his little kids, like we're talking 3 to 5 years old, playing Super Mario Brothers for the first time. He's playing on a Retron 5 on an HD television. And all of these like neckbeards came for this guy and were like, you're teaching your kids wrong. They need to play on original hardware on a CRT. And but it's like, dude, just appreciate the fact that you have a 5-year-old playing Mario from 1985 and keeping the memory alive. It's like,
give them 5 minutes with the game, they won't want to play it anymore.
yeah. But yeah, gatekeeping sucks, man. Just emulate it or buy it, whatever you can afford. Just the whole point is to play and enjoy the games. That's it. Just enjoy them for what they are.
Yeah, people have been asking questions on Instagram.
There's one. It says, what platform is everyone's favorite to use?
It's so tough. Platform like game platform or like
Probably game platform.
I would think so, yeah.
I'm always tied between Nintendo and PlayStation.
Same.
But I really like original Xbox. 360 was great. Xbox One sucks. And I just don't like Sega really at all. So I don't know, Nintendo and PlayStation for me.
I would say between those two as well. Yeah, currently like with my Switch and my PS5, those are like my most played platforms right now. Yeah.
So, I've always been a console gamer. I have never been a huge PC guy. But, caveat, I am a big handheld gamer guy. I love portable gaming. Mostly because TV's always in use. And it makes it easy. So recently, in the last year, we've had like some really great advancements in what's possible with handheld gaming. And so I started on the Steam Deck. I loved the Steam Deck. I now have a Ally by Republic of Gamers, or Gamer, whatever. I don't know how you pronounce that. Asus?
Oh,
No,
Is it
Asus.
Asus or
Asus or Asus, yeah.
I have one of those. So any AAA games that aren't on a Nintendo Switch, I play on that. But it's Nintendo Switch and the Ally is mostly what I play because I can play everything there. If you have Xbox, all the games are available there. If you have a Game Pass Ultimate, you can play them all in there. You can play. It's a PC, so I do have Like I said, I have every US console released. So I do have a PS5 that hasn't been booted up in I don't know how long. Probably a couple days after launch, maybe. And I do have an Xbox Series X that has been played recently, actually. I think we haven't played it recently. Yeah, we played Diablo. We played Diablo 4, actually. So couch co-op. But that's probably, yeah. And then as far as platforms, if for some reason you're talking about where we post, for me it's probably Instagram, maybe.
Definitely YouTube. That's like the only one. But we have started dabbling into YouTube Shorts and TikTok, and yeah, I feel like TikTok has been, it's not like a very recent platform, but I feel like a lot of outlets recently and just creators in general have been really taking advantage of short form media because it's blowing up. People have short attention spans now.
For me, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok for sure, but YouTube first. So
Yeah.
any other questions?
I have an individual versus race. So you first, where do you get an ugly sweater Super Mario suit from? For you, when do you think we'll get inventory planned for? And for you, how did you come up with your Instagram handle?
So these suits, you can get them on Amazon, Nordstrom's, Kohl's. They're called Oppo suits, OPPO. They have different ones. I have a Pac-Man one. I have a regular Mario one. They sell a Pokemon one. They're like $120 for a full 3-piece suit, and they're great. You can wash them in the washing machine and iron them. You don't have to dry clean them if you don't want. I think they're cool.
Metroid Prime 4 is never coming out.
Yeah.
It will, give it time.
It will. I'm just PO'd at Nintendo for announcing this game when they did, and like not giving it to Retro Studios from the start. They announced it at the beginning of the Switch's life the first year, and now it's probably not even going to come out like only on Switch. It'll come out on Switch 2 as well. And it's just like, dude, how do you fumble my favorite franchise so badly like that?
It'll be right there with Elder Scrolls 6.
For real.
Red Dead 3. My name's Christopher Adams. My parents called me Topher when I was a kid. And it's spelled Kristofer. So it's literally my nickname and my last initial. Topher.A.
Ryan Cardhouse wants to know what a Topher is favorite console of all time.
Jeez. Dreamcast. It's up there though. It's up there. Shoot. Depends on the day. Maybe. This doesn't sound like sacrilege, but it's Nintendo Switch probably. I think Nintendo killed it with the Switch. It's everything I've ever wanted in a console. It is a console that I can hold in my hands, and I think that's really, really important for my gaming play style. Other than that, probably a Nintendo 64.
What a really tough question, because I like different consoles for different reasons.
Exactly.
But man, I don't blame anyone that says Switch, because like Nintendo really like crushed it with this system. And this was right after their worst system of all time, the Wii U came out. I personally loved the Wii U, but it sold like 13 units. Yeah, and just because it's just like they fumbled the bag with the messaging on that system and the software output. There's so many software gaps. Like I've been waiting months for like as much as I liked like the games that came out on the Wii U, there was just large gaps between them. Like I was waiting, the thing was collecting dust because I was waiting for the next thing to play. Switch had the opposite problem. It was just like there was too much to play, and like so many Nintendo franchises have been put on it. Like Pikmin came back, Metroid came back, and like how many Zelda games came out year by year? It was crazy. Like that system is really good. Like I don't know if I would call it my favorite, but it's up there definitely.
I would say like generation by generation from when I started till now, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 2, Nintendo Switch. Like those, I think, are three of the most solid consoles you could ever play, library-wise, right? They're amazing. But yeah, did you have a question back then?
Yeah, I did. Well, I need you guys to answer, but I had a question about content creation.
Yeah.
So, what if, like, for example, like, okay, say for example, your whole channel is mostly about, like, you know, like horror games and stuff like that, but then you want to change into like something different. Like instead of horror games, you want to do reviews.
It's a great
My
question.
is it like, is it okay to transition from one content to another, or do you just keep it all the same?
Yeah, I think it's okay to do that, but at least with my experience, when I did that in the beginning, because when I started, I thought I was going to be an Elder Scrolls content creator. I was going to do all Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, mod them, stream them, do everything with it. And then I realized, even though it's my favorite franchise of all time, eventually you get bored of Elder Scrolls, and you don't want to only make Elder Scrolls content. So I thought, well, I'll just do retro gaming because that's everything, right? In the beginning, like my views were really good because all I did was Elder Scrolls, right? But then when I started transitioning into more like broader things, like using different hashtags or different keywords, and I noticed right out of the gate my views were a lot lower than the Skyrim stuff. But after posting the newer stuff consistently for a little while, the views picked right back up where they were. But I mean, honestly, dude, some people will tell you, "Oh, just start a new channel if you're going to do that." You don't have to do all that. But yeah, you guys take this one over.
Yeah, that's a tough one, dude. It's just like, as much as I love Metroid, if I only made a channel that was only about Metroid, I would get sick of making Metroid videos.
Yeah, it was a dumb idea, man. I don't know what I was thinking.
It was, yeah, because I have so many other gaming interests as well. But yeah, don't start another channel. Like it's hard managing multiple channels at once. I would say, yeah, like what Mike was saying. Don't like try and start a new channel. You could continue like if you're moving away from the horror games, and you want to do something else, yeah, just do it. Just don't expect people to like love it right away. Like it's not gonna get as many views, especially if you've made a really good following off of horror content. But then you do something else, then it's gonna take a while for people to adjust, I'll say.
Yeah, because you built an audience around horror, and then you're flipping the script, and maybe now you're doing RPGs. And the people that were there for the horror games, maybe they don't like RPGs, and then they leave. At least I've seen that with live streaming, especially. Like I've seen people that love playing action adventure games like Zelda, and then they get bored of Zelda, and then they go and play something else, and well, that audience isn't there for that, and then they leave. I've watched a lot of Twitch partners who were streaming to hundreds of people switch games or switch genres. Literally start streaming to 10 people, 20 people. So I mean, it just happens. But if you're passionate about it, then do it. Don't switch it up if that's what you really want.
Yeah, honestly, man, the best advice that I can give on this topic, if you're gonna start making videos and you're gonna start creating content, just be 100% authentically you. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. You could be. I've had viral videos on plants. I've had viral videos on video games. I've had viral videos on cards, Pokemon cards, like
Christmas decorations.
And movies. I've seen
movies. Like I just talk about the stuff that I love, and that's what comes through. Is if you really love it. If you try, don't try and fracture yourself to go like, well, I'm just going to be this type of channel. Obviously, we're here at a gaming convention, so like a lot of my content is about gaming. I have half my body is tattooed with video games, but it's really about you. Like that's what people are going to connect with. They're not going to connect to the game. Some people will, and those people will come and go. I started making Disney content earlier this year when we went to Disneyland, and I hemorrhaged followers. It was like 6,000 people left in a day. I really love Disney stuff, and I love Disneyland, so those are 6,000 people that probably weren't meant to be following my channel, and that's okay. I gained 12,000 from doing Disney stuff. So, it's like, just be authentically you. And that's the most important thing that I can tell you. And just do it consistently. Consistency is the key. And I know making videos to, like I said earlier, to 10 people watching feels like a lot, especially when you do it for 6 months and it feels like it's the same 10 people watching. You're building a community around your interests. And it doesn't matter how many interests that is. It could be, tripods. And that's what matters. As long as you talk authentically about it, you're being you, that's really all that matters.
Need a tripod channel now.
Yep. Tripod video coming tomorrow. Yeah, what do you got, Russ? Mario. His name is Mario. I don't know if you guys know this, but Mario's last name is Mario.
And Luigi's last name? Also Mario.
Yep, Luigi Mario. Yep. Ella.
What was your first console that you ever bought?
I think it was a NES for Christmas. I think it was Christmas 85, maybe? 86. I burned my name into the top of it with a wood burning tool, because I also got that for that Christmas. And I also burned my name into my golden Zelda NES cartridge, which I now have graded on my shelf. They got a 3.5.
Yeah, going back, like, the views and all that, like, I kind of create content too on YouTube, and I was doing, and I've been playing Sonic Superstars lately, and kind of, I'm a Sonic fan, so, but everything I was playing on Freedom thing, kind of Sonic phone, and people were saying like, oh, you really like to keep playing this game, and I went back to it, but I'm kind of stuck between playing Sonic Superstars and Freedom thing. So, I'm trying to actually keep playing Superstars and like beat it first and things like you know, because it seems like I'm getting more views on the Sonic game now. And I feel trying to always truly keep going for the game, going for the game. So I just finish that on my channel and then go back to the other.
Yes.
Just keep playing stuff and I'm playing on there.
That's honestly how I play games, period. Like, I'm just like, I'm not the kind of person that can just jump between games. I'm weird like that, I don't know why.
Sorry, that
Don't
was
you dare.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, so just like, and you might, if you're having, how far are you in Sonic Superstars? Like halfway through?
I mean, I'd be on the Switch, but I've been on PS4 on my channel, so I'm like halfway through.
Oh yeah, just finish that and then play Freedom Planet. That's what it's called, right? You said it's kind of like Sonic?
It's not like it was really like the Sonic game at first, but like the characters are kind of like the Sonic characters.
Interesting.
My suggestion would be to do what is going to excite you the most.
Yes.
Even if it is changing courses. We good? That's it?
Time.
Time? We're out of time.
Let me draw the raffle winner. So for those of you who stopped by the booth, if you subscribed to the YouTube channel or you were already subscribed, you got a raffle ticket to win this gift basket. We're also doing another one tomorrow, so if you're here, stop by the booth again. But I wanted to have someone draw the winner, so Topher.
Did I win? I got the gift basket?
All right, draw the winner.
All right. Don't hate me.
If you got your tickets on you.
Do I just call the last two numbers?
I don't know.
Last three.
Last three numbers. 019.
Anybody?
19. The look on your face, though, for a second, I was like, tell me this guy just wanted candy. This guy's going home with them. Yes.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Zero 008.
No? All right. I don't know if they knew they had a new president.
This one just says Topher Ed.
Congratulations!
012. Yeah! Okay, again, thank you guys for coming and sitting here and listening to us. I'm happy to answer questions about content creation if you guys have more questions, or just ask.